Welcome to Thriving Talks with Anthony. We're going to have a conversation on relationships. This is going to be part 2. So if you haven't seen number 1, go check that out. It's good content. This is featured with a special guest named Daij. She has her own channel. So if you haven't checked out her channel, go please do. She got good content. And she got good content on the way. So go show some love to her channel. And please, let's proceed right back into our conversation on relationships part 2. Daij in the cut. Go ahead.
It's your girl Daij. Guys, we back with another video, relationships, part 2, segment 2, and we here to talk our talk.
You already know. So I mean, from part 1, we talked about the beginning stage. We talked about honeymooning. We talked about priorities on how to look for the red flags, how to evaluate them before it gets toxic. We talked about a little bit about toxic people, but let's just get right into it. What would you say is this is just, I don't know. What is the ideal man? What is the ideal man in your eyes?
For me,
So why are ladies out here having trouble? Why, why do we keep this cycle continuing? How can we break this? So what's the ideal man, and what's the features, and how do we evaluate these features? So let's break it down. So what you got going on in your head? I want to see a female's perspective.
I got some things going on in my head, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of contradicting.
Well, talk your piece. Go ahead.
I feel like, what I'm attracted to, the next woman may not be attracted to. So it's like, I don't want to generalize the way what I want from somebody as if that applies to all women, because it doesn't. Like, I'm not gonna get into what his lifestyle or whatever it is has to be, but I will say it's important for the person that I want to deal with to have certain characteristic traits.
Okay.
And that's as far as like, like you have to. It's something that you should observe in the talking stage before it escalates to a relationship. Based on the things that you want for your future with the person that you're dealing with, if you guys have mutual interest. I'm looking for somebody that, is more of like maybe a family man, somebody who's smart, somebody that can maybe teach me something, someone that has certain characteristic traits of, like they value the same things that I value, like loyalty, family, respect is a big one. Somebody, even if they're not 100% together, they work on certain things. Loyalty, you either loyal or you not. You either got it in you or you don't. That's something that can't be taught.
100%.
Respect, that's something that you learn from home from a young age. So that is something that comes with you too. And communication, I think everybody in this generation's communication is not on this P's and Q's, but that's something that you have to be willing to do too. And I feel like if somebody really wants to deal with you, communicating is not going to be a problem anyway.
So you said a few things already. So what are top 3 mandatory, essentials that need to be there for someone to be dealing with someone such as yourself?
Me, loyalty is number 1.
Right. But them actions need to add up, because everybody's saying I'm loyal. Look at my zodiac sign.
That's number 1. You cannot. I'm saying this. Listen, we screen by screen. Whoever feels some type of way, you cannot deal with me and the loyalty. If that's not there, if you're not respectful, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just
one more. So I said 2 out of 3. You give me 2. One more. So you said loyalty, respect, and then last essential thing a guy needs to have to be able to deal with you. There's so many things. You know what I mean?
There's
cologne. Can he change the spare tire? What other things, essentials you feel like mandatory?
Those are other things. Those are other things, but it's honestly really loyalty, respect, and communication.
All right, I could say for me, off the rip of my head, obviously loyalty. Everybody wants that. That's just. You can't be talking. You can't be talking to me like, you know what I mean. You can't be talking to me and acting as if that you're this person, but you're not. So it's like, keep up with your character. Who are you? I real recognize real. So it's like, I'm expecting you to be, you know what I mean, what you say you are and more. So, that right there, the way you carry yourself is very important. Because you represent me essentially. So if I'm not with you, you know what I mean? That's just that's how I'm rocking. So
you gotta be a certain way in my face and behind my back, not
course.
just in my face.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not around, that's what
so
it matters in my face too. But when I'm not around, that's what really matters. Like,
so I guess that goes along the lines with loyalty, but that's very essential right there because you know what I mean. You just don't know. People out here stab you in your back. But I mean that goes right there.
Ease too, like it's easy.
I would also say ambition too, because I feel as if that I'm a hardworking individual myself. I don't just talk about it. I'm out here doing it, making the moves. It's very difficult. So people that may look at me, hate or whatever. It's difficult to get behind the screen and really do what you got to do with all the criticism, but you just got to persevere and do what you got to do to get through. However, the ambition is it's attractive. It's good. I like that. You know what I mean? Like that's destiny. If you see someone that's doing something, you know what I mean? Like how can they not? I salute. I really do. I appreciate the work that's being demonstrated. And then the last thing, maturity.
Oh my gosh! I should have said that.
I feel like you feel me. A lot of people out here line themselves up in these relationships, and it ain't Candyland. It ain't like a straight line. Things get a little toxic. Things get a little.
That is so in the back of my head.
Things get a little dangerous. So this is where the maturity comes in to be able to really understand. Like, are we going to be able to solve the issue? I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'm trying to solve the issue so we can prevent this from happening again. So that's just me, off the top of my head. So we just doing this off the rip.
Right.
Yeah. So what other things do you feel as if that is going to be beneficial to someone else out there to look out before they put themselves into a relationship?
I think before you enter a relationship, I feel like I don't want to say relationships something that you have to be ready for, but like sometimes things just come out of nowhere. And you didn't expect for things to go the way they did. And sometimes you just kind of end up in a relationship, or if you vibe with somebody and you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like it's important to always try to be at your best. Like, don't go into a relationship half-assed because it'll ruin a relationship quickly. You don't want to be in something and have one foot in and one foot out. If you're dealing with somebody and they're entering the situation with both feet in and you're like confused, you're not sure, you shouldn't be in that situation. And if it's something that you know that you want to partake in and this is somebody that you want to be with, you should have both of your feet in as well. You don't want somebody giving more and the other person giving less because they're one foot in and one foot out. So I do feel like if you're going to, be in a relationship, you should have both of your feet in mutually. You guys should be on mutual terms. I feel like both people should be giving their all. I feel like a lot of people, especially in this generation, have the mindset of, like, so you ever hear like people getting into a relationship and then it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna cheat before this person has a chance to cheat. So when I find out they cheat, I already got my get back.
That's
or something
vicious.
Like that.
What?
That is so dumb. That is mad dumb. And it's just like, if you're going into a relationship with that mindset, just be single. I don't applaud or I can't clap or I just be alone because clearly you're not ready.
That's some child. I'm not gonna lie. That's some child stuff. I'm growing as we.
Right, and you don't want to enter a situation with the intent to hurt somebody or knowing that you're not gonna do right by them. If you really care about somebody, in certain situations, some situations, you gotta tread lightly on the word mistake because there's a lot of steps that happen before certain things. You know what I mean? So.
But where's the line? Where's the line of forgiveness? Because what do you mean by mistake, and how many times are you gonna?
There's levels to it. Depends on what the mistake is.
Okay.
What is the mistake? Like some men and women have fragile egos, but men are very prideful, and there are some women that are also very prideful, and it just kind of depends on like today's in our generation. Can you forgive him for giving hard eyes under a girl's picture that he might have known before he was in a relationship with you, but he might just look at her as a friend? Can you forgive him for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that could be something that maybe you guys talk about like, listen, you were doing too much, but we can move past that. It's not something worth breaking up over. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. Cheating, now I think with cheating for anybody, that should be one and done. But you can't tell somebody what to do, how to love, or what they will tolerate or accept. But I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend taking back.
Pause right there. Pause right there. I agree with what Daij is saying, and the reason why I'm saying that is because my father told me only a fool can make the same mistake twice. So with that being said right there, I think it's really good for you. I think it's really good for you to evaluate your situation because you don't deserve this. You don't deserve to, you know what I mean? If you didn't do that to that person, it shouldn't even be like tit for tat, but it's just like you don't deserve to be in this dilemma. You know what I mean? So really evaluate your worth and do not settle for less,
Listen, period, Takius. Listen. Listen, I feel like for men and women, but this is a saying. So one man's trash is definitely another person's treasure. Some people get comfortable once you show them that you'll accept certain things, or if they think you've accepted it. There are two different sides of the coin. Some people will do certain things that they know they shouldn't be doing, and when you take them back, they never want to feel that feeling again if you take them back, so they won't ever do it again. And there are some people that are like, the other side of the coin is, I got away with that, I can get away with this. Oh, she'll tolerate that because she wants to be with me, so I'll get away with this too. You know what I'm saying? So there's I'm not going to sit here and say
very true. That's very true. Sometimes, like right there, that's a moment right there when people truly take your kindness for your weakness. You know what I mean? So they realize that you're a good person.
That's a weak individual, though, that does that. Only weak people do stuff like that. Because if you're really real and you're solid and you realize, like, dang, like, this shouldn't have happened. I was wrong. I know what it feels like to, be without this person, or this is something a person that I really don't feel like I can live without. I don't want to lose them. Will own up to the things that, what I did, and I'll never cross that boundary again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's boundaries. When you have boundaries, it's part of respect, self-respect. It's something that people cannot just cross with you. You know what I'm saying? So once you have those set in stone and somebody keeps basically trying to go through the wall, like it's just convenient for them, like they can do it whenever they want, they don't respect you. And you don't need to be with somebody like that. It should always be a mutual respect, a mutual understanding. You should be willing to communicate with the person that you're with. If you're having such technical difficulties, that's something you guys either need to talk about, or if you can't communicate, you don't need to be with that person. That's just how I feel.
All right. So we're in a little dangerous zone right now, so we just gonna get a little real. So what I can say is this. When you're walking into a relationship, you need to have no expectations. And it sounds crazy, but let me just break it down to you. You need to have no expectations. Listen, when you're dealing with someone, communication is the number one, issue, or the number one factor. What I could say is that you need to be able to communicate with your partner. So let your intentions be known, everything like that. But I'm just saying that you have to have no expectations. So whatever happens, happens. And no one predicts bad things to happen. Like, for instance, so imagine this right here. Imagine for instance, right? You walk into a room and the person that you're dating is cheating with someone else. You don't know this person, or maybe you do know this person. I don't know. However, we didn't anticipate for this moment to happen. However, it happened. We didn't anticipate it. You know what I mean? So you should just have no expectations. So all I'm saying is this: let your intentions be known. However, whatever you get is whatever you get, and this is what you're getting. You know what I mean? So let the realities of your reality be shown, and you have to be able to walk in your own shoes. So a lot of people out here just see what they see and just let things just naturally happen to them, and just say, oh, life sucks and this is bad. Listen, you can get out of this. You can change your narrative. So there's always there's always sun or sunlight at the end of the tunnel. So I'm just trying to put a little motivation on your chest and give y'all what y'all need. But for real, I truly believe that there's no expectation should be held in a relationship. just due to the fact of the matter is that anything is unpredictable. We don't know what this person may do tomorrow. People wake up and feelings change, medication, this, that. I don't know. However, we just got to go on the coast of love and the love that they're demonstrating within us. So, in a relationship. But that's
so
what
you're basically saying, okay, let me evaluate this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically saying, like, take a relationship with a grain of salt.
Yes.
Like,
and I'm taking it. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt, but most importantly, take it slow. If you're really trying to evaluate, not evaluate, but if you're really trying to grow and have that exponential growth with this person, then the best thing that you should do is honestly just take it slow. Because if you're gonna rush, the relationship's gonna rush you, or life is gonna rush you. So if you take it slow, you're able to see things at a better angle. You probably have more clarity because you're not moving as too quick. So take it easy. Get to know who you're dealing with. What the intentions of being, what intentions the person trying to bring to the table, and now you be able to see like, oh, I'm bringing this. This is my value. They ain't even up to my, standards or my level. So, and then you could just kind of go from there. But if you're gonna sit there and rush and play the game gonna play you. So, really get to know who you're dealing with.
That's the thing. Like you said, going into it with good intentions. If you have good intentions, you should be moving by that. It shouldn't be like, okay, you said don't have any expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, this is how I feel. I'm gonna speak my piece. Okay,
all right, do your thing.
I feel like before I get into a relationship, this honestly might be my problem, but I don't know. I'm just the person that I am, and I'm not gonna change that. So how I feel when I date somebody is, we're talking, we're dating, whatever, we're courting before we get into a relationship. Now, when we get into a relationship, I'm gonna just tell you like this: I'm not gonna get into a relationship with somebody that we don't have a mutual understanding, a mutual agreement, and we have already had conversations about the way that we operate and have observed each other and been around each other. You get what I'm saying? So if you're doing, I want you to understand from my perspective. I'm gonna use this as an example. This is something that you're signing up for. You're signing up to be in a relationship with me. If that's something that you want to do, if we're agreeing that we want to be together. Now, there's plenty of jobs that you can apply to, that you can get hired for, but you're getting hired to deal with me. This is what comes with the job. Rules and regulations. These are the things that I require. This is what I like. This is what I'm not going to tolerate, what I'm not going to accept. Understand that there's other employees in line. This is not to make you feel insecure.
I see.
But if you're doing your job, if you have good intentions, no employee is perfect. You know what I'm saying? I hate to call it an employee, but this is women. I just feel like if you agree to these terms and conditions, if we're dealing with me, and you break that contract, you're fired. That's just how I feel. So I don't want to say I don't have don't go into it with no expectations. That I have expectations. We have mutual expectations for each other, because the plan is not to just sit here and talk and date and just do that. That's not what we're just doing. We're just not doing that and laying up with each other. We're supposed to have goals. We're supposed to be trying to elevate. And if you decide, like you want to use your example, I walk in and you're cheating.
Oh, my fault. Let me pause right here. What I can say is this. When I meant in regards to expectations, what I'm trying to say is basically, for instance, like, don't expect the person that you meet is going to be your husband. You know what I mean? So people have this thing, like, they'll see this person and they'll lock it themselves in their mind, like, this is the person that is for me ever, 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 ever. You can't have that expectation, You just get what you get. What you get.
If you guys mutually agree what the goal is futuristically, it doesn't have to be locked in at that time, right when you say it, right then and there. That is rushing. I feel like that's still doing too much. I don't believe in jumping into something when you don't even really know somebody like that. So you can take time to get to know them.
No, I'm just saying, no. This don't even have to go within the relationship. I'm just saying within yourself, you need to have the self-awareness of not having expectations and just going along with the roller coaster. Because there's going to be swirls and this and that when it comes to the individual in the relationship. However, you just can't have the expectation that, like, this is the person for you or whatever. You just get what you get, period, you know? And you
That's
make the
true.
choice, and you
You
have
know
a
what?
choice. Every time you wake up, you text the routine is a choice. So if you're not happy, you have to make those evaluations, you know? So I'm just trying to have an individual, before they put themselves into a relationship, let the person know the awareness of the relationship, you know? Like, this may not be what you was looking for or what it was. However, everything happens for a
Well, I
reason,
think
and there's
that's when
lessons.
two people kind of understand that they're not on the same page. If you start something and you're on the same page, it's like after a certain period of time or something happens for you guys to not be on the same page. That's when you would have that conversation where you guys mutually don't see yourself. Either you would work towards getting on the same page, or you guys just don't see each other, like, after dealing with each other, and be like, okay, this was cool. I just feel like I can't get down with this, or this is not working for me, or, I would like to have something with you maybe futuristically, but right now my headspace is over here. If you can deal with that and still deal with me, that's cool, but I really don't want to put you through the stress, or, however that conversation will go. I think it all just depends, but that's what I'm saying. Like in the beat, like, referring back to our first video, we talked about having a foundation. That is in the beginning of the relationship. So you have to have a foundation. You have to start somewhere where that you'll build off of. You know what I'm saying? And you should be building off a common ground. You can't build while, like, somebody's like on a hill and somebody's like on a sidewalk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you both have to be mutually, and that is just as far as what your plans are with each other and moving forward. That doesn't mean that two people have to have graduated and started their careers. Like, opposites attract. I'm not speaking about that. I'm talking about how you plan on growing together, your same goals, like the level of respect, like the way that you guys view certain things. There has to be a mutual understanding. Like, that starts the foundation, to me, in my opinion.
Okay. Why do you believe toxic people, or people such as, like, I think we talked a little bit about that before, but why do you feel it's like, or we could just kind of give a little refresher, but why do you feel like toxic things happen? Or why does like domestic violence, why do things get a little crazy like that? Like, what makes somebody just,
What makes somebody tick or
yeah,
snap?
like what makes,
People don't have self-control. That's one.
it starts from the home. That's what I know that for sure.
From home. It starts from home.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're used to being around people, especially from a young age, and seeing certain things and it being brushed under the rug or treated like it's normal, toxicity does a lot of times often start at home, and it's normalized when it shouldn't be, because one, sometimes that's all people know. It's really people struggling to break the cycle. And something too, I had an experience. I'm not gonna go full throttle in detail and everything like that, but I will say that I've dated somebody that comes from a toxic background, and I don't come from a toxic background, so there was a lot of differences in, like, the way that we go about things. And sometimes you, like, bump heads because you're trying to teach somebody. It's not even trying to teach, but you're trying to, like, show or present yourself in a way that's true to you, but the way that you go about things is more different than them. They're used to somebody just getting on a phone, yelling, arguing, you know what I'm saying, hang up, click, and then it's like, am I not doing enough because you're used to somebody doing too much and overstepping their boundaries? You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are used to things that are not, like, okay.
What I can say is that, let me just start off by saying this: it ain't okay for no man to be hitting no woman, but it ain't right for no woman to be hitting no man. You know what I mean? So it does start with the self control, and I definitely believe that
who did it first?
The awareness.
Because I just feel like either way, whoever hits who first, somebody has a right to hit somebody back. But I'm not promoting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not promoting it. But you should just keep your hands to yourself.
That's just what it needs to be. But I just believe that it shouldn't happen. I can give a little experience. I remember there was a situation where, and it does take some strength. It does take strength not to retaliate. You know what I mean?
The situation is like,
I'll give you a little scoop. Ooh. I was in a situation, and shorty, she was grabbing my chain. I'm like, yo, get off my chain. Like, I don't want you to snap my chain, although it's solid. However, I wasn't having it. I just didn't want, touching on my neck, da 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 da. And then, she took it as if that I was calling her, what I mean, a broke, and that's not what it was. I just said, just don't touch my chain. And then, she took it south, and then she hit me. And I'm like, I really was like, yo, like, it was like it's like, imagine a little, what's it called?
It just gets you. It's like a little adrenaline.
A ball of fire.
A ball of fire just flashes through you, and just like, and you just run to retaliate,
or you just want to. That's your instinct, you know what I mean? But it really takes strength to really think about, and have the awareness within the mind within that situation. So, I do give props to most people out there that think before they react, because it's very important to have that skill. But I was like, yo, is this what we're really doing right now? Like, if I was to hit you back, it would have been, you know what I mean? So, like, really, I had to break it down to the individual I was dealing with at the time. But I'm just saying to anybody else out there, like, it ain't okay. But what I could say this too is, what I could see is that, in my end, I feel like some women do, what's the word? They do, when you kind of poke somebody, what's that word?
Like poking the bear?
Like, provoking? Type of thing. Like, you kind of provoke. Like, provoke. That's the word. So they provoke a situation, whatever. But as a man, as the guy in the situation, you need to be able to be in control of what's going on, and you don't got to give the reaction. Or sometimes you just got to distance yourself from the individual,
I hate to say, I don't want to sound like, biased, but I feel like a man should walk away. And if he could, get somebody else in between them to get her to leave if it's really that serious. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people just need space. I don't feel like it should ever escalate to that point, but I'm not trying to normalize it, but sometimes when you're young, things happen. People are learning how to love still, and I think in this generation that being toxic is cute. I don't think it's cute because it don't really get you nowhere. Like, even if you want to prove that you can be crazy,
and also too, what I can see too is it's also a sign of manipulation too, because when you hit somebody, it develops a ball of fear. So it's but I like it's real.
Sometimes
it's real.
People
it's
feel
real.
Bonded to that though, because like what's crazy is some people could feel like if this person is going all out and doing this much about me for me, even if it's not okay, they love me. That's how they show their love. So it is a form of manipulation, and people start thinking or getting like, I'll just stick through this with this person because like this is what they dealt with growing up, and this is I love them, or you think you love them, and you think that they love you, and this is how they express their love. So some people will tolerate it, but we just need to stop normalizing that, because being toxic is really just not cute. It's not cute.
It's not, and like I said, to pull it back, it is a choice. Like, this is the life that that you're in control of, and you need to be able to steer it the right way in the right direction. So really evaluate, what you got going on, the person you're dealing with, because you got to also understand too, if this is someone you want to pursue a future with, have a family with, is this the type of environment you want to have around your children? Can you leave your children with their family when you go on a vacation with your? Is this the type of energy you want to have around you? So think about these things.
It is. I feel like if you have trust issues with somebody, you really just shouldn't be with them, because there's a reason why you don't trust them, whether it's something that they did, or if you within yourself just haven't fully healed from whatever you feel like it is you've been through. Just be alone, because if you're gonna don't go into something bringing your baggage with other people. Like, listen, everybody, the crazy that you bringing into somebody else's life, people really is not like always used to that. Like, there's girls out here that do stupid stuff over dudes, like slashing tires. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going that hard to prove a point. You're really just doing too much. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the best thing you could do, if somebody's trying to play with you or take you for granted, you really just don't trust them, just walk away.
Remove yourself.
I don't do the get back games. No, there's power in knowing that you could take it there, but you don't have to take it there. I feel like that's real power. Because
but is it really worth it doing all that nonsense?
It's not. That's what I'm saying. You're not really getting yourself nowhere. The best thing that you could do is remove yourself from a situation. And there's a lot of times when you're not with somebody and they really start to realize that maybe you was a person. You know what I'm saying? However, you guys, if it even gets to that point of you ever working something out, sometimes people are just learning who they are and they're trying to learn who they are with somebody else, and that can ruin things sometimes because I mean, I don't want to say fairy tales don't exist, but they're not always idealistic. They're not always realistic, especially when you're starting young and you're inexperienced with dating and love, and you're just craving a certain level of attention or intimacy with somebody. You know what I'm saying? When you weren't taught or wasn't raised with both parents, that does have an effect on you growing up. And people can neglect it and say, oh, I don't need this. I don't need X, Y, and Z. Even if you hate to admit it, that's just the God's honest truth. Because if two people play their role, two people that create a child, this is a whole nother conversation. But if, we just going to talk about people themselves, like we said, it does start at home. These things start at home. And, when there's two parents that's raising a child, together correctly and teaching them certain morals and values growing up, some of these issues that they have when they're adults, it wouldn't just like smack them in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't just hit them on the head because, they basically, when you're raising a child, you're preparing them for the future of what they're going to deal with. You're preparing them for the world. You have to teach them lessons about life as they grow and teach them how to protect their self, their energy, and how to carry their self when you're not around. You know what I'm saying? So that shows more often, and people think that people don't observe or see the way that they are when they're this way or when they're with this person or when they're around this group of people. And you can just tell when somebody lacks self-love and self-respect. Some people just don't care. Be with somebody that just don't care. Mm-hmm. Don't be with somebody
it's all a choice.
Keep up with that, because there's people that will try to degrade you because they don't agree with your perspectives of life or the way that you want to go about things, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with the way that I want to do things, but find somebody that fits your. You know what I'm saying? If you can't get with the program and you can't, that's just what it is.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm. So we either on or we off. We either both feed in or you both feed out. You just can't get with it. So that's how I feel.
And it ain't worth forcing it. So if it's not working, like it ain't worth it. Mm-hmm. It's not working. It's not working. You learn your lesson, and it's time to move on to the next situation. So trying to recreate or trying to force it is only gonna make it worse, and it's gonna be more rebellious than the connect. So just let it go.
What it gets to be. The chase.
And what I'm gonna say too, you would rather have something be genuine. You could rather have something be genuine than something to just be forced. You know what I mean? Imagine someone trying to be on you, just like, yo, can you leave me alone? Like I seen you. You know what I mean? Like you're annoying me. So that's type of energy.
Talk about sometimes it depends, because somebody will pursue somebody like full force, and then when that person reciprocates their energy, that person fall back. Like, so it's like you're kind of sending mixed signals, and I don't like when. I'm just saying this as an example because I hear this only too often. Not saying that this applies to you, but I'm so tired of hearing men say she's crazy. She's crazy. Like, that is so annoying because they're not telling the full side of the story. Like, okay, granted, there's sometimes you meet people and they really are just like delusional. Mm-hmm. But every person that you meet is not just crazy and tapped. You did something for somebody to act that way, and this generation lacks accountability. Like, be able to own up to what you did or what triggered something in somebody else. Now, maybe the way they went about it, or the lacking of self-control is not okay. But you have to take responsibility, like accountability for your actions. I feel like so many people in this generation play the victim role. They did nothing. They don't know how this happened. They don't know. So how did it happen if you didn't do anything for it to happen?
It don't make no sense. What I could say is this: after you get yourself out of your situation, you're able to give yourself some time. Please heal. And when I say heal, don't just go on to the next person. Don't just please get
We'll do
yourself
that.
right. You know what I mean? Get yourself right. I'm advocating for mental health. I want to be a mental health counselor. I want to be able to help people. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I got to do. So please heal yourself so you get the clarity that you need, the intellect that you need, so you be able to move on your own and produce what you got to do for yourself, you know? Because I feel as if that you cannot rely on nobody. You can't, you know what I mean? So when your parents is gone, you know, or your cousin or your grandmother or whoever that you stay with or you're around, you got to be able to provide for yourself and whoever you want to have behind you. So you have to really be putting yourself first, you know? So it ain't selfish either. It ain't selfish either. So it's either you eating or you ain't eating.
Hurt people. Mm-hmm. You know, don't get out of a situation and jump into another situation. I mean, I could only understand if somebody doing that if, one, they were cheated the entire time, or two, and they never really felt some type of attachment to the person that they were dealing with. They were just dealing with them just because they could. Or two, you're using another person to get over somebody else, and I feel like that's mad childish. You need to like relearn yourself, be able to evaluate that situation, because sometimes too, when you deal with somebody for a certain period of time, there's multiple lessons with that person. You ever go through cycles with people, even in friendships, relationships, or you keep finding yourself falling off with somebody and then y'all fall back, but then when you're done, you're done. You know what I'm saying?
In regards to this being the second part 2, however, do you have any last words on relationships for those out there?
Basically, just don't jump in a relationship to relationship. Make sure you all in, and you know, take time to heal if you know that you're not ready for something. You know, be willing to whatever you're requiring from somebody. Make sure you can give that same thing to them. And I just feel like that's very important. I don't really have nothing much else to add. You don't have business being in a relationship if you lack maturity, if you're not a mature person. That's just how I feel.
All right. What I could say to seal the deal is people need to have the expectations, regardless if this is your friendship or a relationship of an initial person that you are trying to build with. So you need to have the heart of just being able to give. Give what you can. However, don't drain yourself of what you got, you know? So, for instance, a lot of people out here put themselves in a relationship like, oh, he better have this, he better have the bag, I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to get that. Like, you don't need... This is why a lot of people, the high quality folks out here don't want to mess with you because they ain't on that nonsense, you know? So, all I'm trying to say is that have the heart to give, and when you give, you will be able to receive, you know? So, you know, that ticket will hit you. But just be a genuine person, be who you actually is, and the right people will gravitate towards you. So stay away from the BS, lame stuff, you know, be who you is, and everything will fall into place by the grace of God. So further ado, the video is over on relationships part 2 with Daij. So see y'all till next time on Thriving Talks with Anthony. In the conversation on relationships with Daij, it was really good conversation. And a lot of gems have been given. So I want you guys to be able to have successful relationships, or even be able to assess your relationship before you put yourself into one. So without further ado, please check out video number 1 and run this back if you need to. But thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for, you know, thriving with me. Thank you for talking with me. And please subscribe. And till next time on Thriving Talks with Anthony. Love.
Whatever you want us to, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we lit.
I don't understand why people out here watch the video, but they act like they can't press the subscribe button.
Oh!
It don't make no sense. You don't make no sense.